Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm not normally a coffee drinker, but this Costa Rican coffee hits pretty nicely, I will say. Tuning into you from Costa Rica. I'm currently in an area called Quepos. Still integrating the last week. If I'm being very honest, it's been very, very challenging. And I'm still down-regulating and bringing my nervous system back to a state of calm. Integration is very, very important, and it's something that I take very seriously and that I help my clients learn and understand how to work with. Because when we don't integrate our experiences, whether stressful, whether challenging, whether just regulating, whatever those experiences might be, that's when they get trapped in our body. And that's when they start to influence us long term. They start to cause chronic disease. They start to cause chronic inflammation. They start to cause more challenges down the road. I'm very grateful for all the lessons that have been coming through very, very strongly. This week, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about how I show up in very chaotic and very challenging situations. There's a lot that has happened this week that I really didn't foresee happening. And one of my intentions coming into this trip was to really see myself in my higher levels of leadership. What does that look like? And not just when it comes to leading myself, but also when it comes to leading others. And there were a couple of really challenging situations this week that I got to navigate. And it was hard, and it was also really eye-opening to see how I show up, again, not just for myself, but how I show up for others. And one of the biggest takeaways that I've really had through a lot of the challenges that I've navigated this week was my true ability my true ability to show up for myself and to navigate the crazy waters, right? The waves, when shit hits the fan, when things feel really hard. And I would not have been able to do those things had I not spent so much time over the years learning about what I needed, learning how to regulate my nervous system, learning how to guide others through regulating their nervous systems in challenging situations. And it comes down to the tools that you have in your toolbox. And I remember a point in time in my life where I really didn't have any of these tools. I really didn't know how to tap into my body's wisdom. I didn't know how to tap into those tools to help me calm my nervous system, to help me breathe, to help me clear my mind when it was so heady, when there was all these things that I was worried about or stressed about. And I really had the opportunity this week to show up with these tools in a way that helped me move through some really, really challenging things, that helped others move through some really, really challenging things. I had the ability to stay in this place of being an observer, having the awareness to keep my feet on the ground while witnessing and observing all the things happening around me so I can best navigate my next steps forwards. And again, I'm super, super grateful for the tools that I have. And I'm also really grateful for my ability to know when I need support from someone else. And I think that is a very challenging thing that we don't often learn as humans, that we're not often taught as humans, right? When do you step forward and resource yourself? When do you step forward and support yourself? And when do you ask and request others to support you? And when do you lean on others in a way that doesn't actually take away your work, right? Because it's one thing to lean on someone else when you get to step forwards for yourself and when you have the opportunity to. And then it's another thing to lean on others when you actually don't have the ability to step forwards and support yourself. And this week, being in this space that was very hot, camping in like 95 degrees with like over 70% humidity, very hot sun, it pushed me to my edges. And when we are pushed to our edges, we get to learn so much about ourselves. We get to learn about what it is that might trigger us. We get to learn about how we show up for ourselves when we might have been slightly nudged over the edge, right? And those edges are one of the most beautiful places to learn, one of the most beautiful places to grow. And through challenge, we become more resilient. Through challenge, we become more understanding. Through challenge, we get to see deeper levels of who we are, how we think, how we act, how we react, how we respond. And we get to see where we are holding on to expectations. And I had one really potent experience this week where I was feeling really, really frustrated. I was holding on to this expectation. I was really, really frustrated with other people, and found myself in this place where I was like, that's what I want. I want to be there, and I'm not, and I'm really frustrated about it. And I continue to remind myself that there's a reason why I am not where I want to be. There's a reason why I am right here, right now. There's a reason why things are flowing the way that they are. And I nudged myself into this place where I reminded myself to surrender and to trust the process, that everything is happening for me, and to be in the present moment versus holding on and ruminating over this thing I don't have, over this place where I'm not finding myself. And I surrendered. I surrendered into the present moment. And when I did that, I found myself in a space where I was more in the present, and I chose to go on a little walk. And as I walked in this present moment where I was, while releasing the things that I wanted, the expectations that I was holding on to so strongly, I found myself in a situation with someone else where they were very much in a life or death situation. And it was really scary, in all honesty. And I got to show up for this person who was really struggling in the moment and who really needed support. And had I been where I wanted to be, had I been in the place where I was hoping to be, location-wise, and had I not been exactly where I was in the present moment, I would not have had the ability to show up for this person to literally help save their life. And I don't know what would have happened. Truly. It was a pretty intense and scary situation for me, and I can imagine that it was a very intense and scary situation for the person that I was supporting. But in this moment, when I found this person like in pain and really like writhing and rolling on the ground, woo, bless me. I found myself in the place where I was like, this is why I'm not where I want to be. This is why that expectation that I was holding on to was not my reality. Because I was meant to be here. I was meant to be here right now. And I think that this is a really important lesson for us as human beings to remember, is like, we oftentimes hold on so tightly to these expectations, to these things that we want, to these places where we want to be. We oftentimes hold on to these ideas that we have. And we forget that all the things that we need are actually right here, right now in the present. And when we lose track of being in the present moment, we not only lose the ability to optimally learn and grow and support ourselves, but also to potentially support others who may really need us in the present. And that's why learning these tools and gathering these tools and being able to regulate yourself and your nervous system, being able to tap in and tune into the moment, to the present, being able to be right here, right now is so important, because always, being in the present is where we get to learn. It's where we get to show up. It's where we get to be of service. And so I had this really powerful reminder this week of what happens when you allow yourself to be fully present, and when you allow yourself to surrender to the expectations and to like the forcing, right? To the seeking. And when I did that, I found myself in that space where, because of me, somebody else is actually still alive and they're actually still here. And had I been in the place where I wanted to be, had I really just continued to hold on to this frustration because I was not in the place where I was hoping to be, and I was holding on to this expectation, I would not have been able to show up fully for this person and help them save their life. I'm feeling really grateful. This has been honestly, it's been a really challenging experience. It's been really beautiful. I've learned a lot. But the last week it's pushed me to my edges, and it's allowed me to see other sides of myself, other versions of myself. And it's true. It's like through challenge, we really get to come to know ourselves so much more deeply. So I just want to bring the reminder to you, as you navigate the day, as you navigate today, tomorrow, whenever you find yourself outside of the present and hoping for something in the future and holding on to some expectation, I want to remind you that when you do that, and when you do not allow yourself to shake that off and to be back fully in the present, you lose the ability to fully show up here and now. You lose the ability to be the observer. You lose the ability to see the things that are actually here to change you and to help you grow and to help you heal. And oftentimes help others grow, help others heal, help others be in the present. And so when things come up today, when things come up tomorrow that feel challenging, that feel stressful, that feel maybe dysregulating, I want to invite you back to your breath, and I want to invite you back into the present, and I want to remind you that unless you are right here, right now, fully experiencing this very moment without living in the future, you lose the opportunity to exponentially grow. And so, again, want to invite you back to your breath. I want to invite you back into the moment. I want to invite you to be fully with what is here. All the feelings, all the emotions, all the challenges, all the chaos. I want to invite you to be with it, to hold it all. And to remind yourself that when you surrender and when you can be here and when you allow yourself to be with this, with all of it, there's so much gold. There's so many keys. There's so many really big lessons. So much growth that you'll walk away with. But until we surrender to what is potentially in the future, and until we surrender to those expectations, we cannot receive all that we are meant to right here in the present. So, if I can be of any support to you in this journey as you find yourself back in the present, as you navigate supporting yourself and regulating yourself, as you navigate surrendering your expectations so that you can more clearly see who you are right now and where you are and why this very present moment is actually helping you in stepping forwards into the future. If I can support you in any of that, I just want to invite you to reach out, to send me a message. I would love to hop on a free call with you and just chat a little bit more. And I just want to remind you that you're doing an absolutely fantastic job. You're doing an amazing job exactly where you are. I know things might feel challenging, but those challenges are here for you. They're here to support you, and that might feel hard to understand. My voice might feel hard to understand right now. But as you move forward, you're going to understand why. You're going to understand all of it. It's all going to make sense. It doesn't need to make sense right now. But as you continue to be here and be present, all the clarity will come. So, there's a lot more to say. I'm still a little under-resourced, but haven't tapped in here at all much, a little bit, but not much. So I just wanted to offer a little bit of presence to you, and wanted to share with you a little bit about my journey and the challenges that I've faced this week. And I'm looking forward to sharing more with you about how I've navigated some of these things and how I've been able to resource myself, how I've leaned on others, and what a lot of this has been teaching me. Because one of the most potent lessons I'm learning is when you have so much unwavering trust in your ability to show up for yourself, you can show up for others so much more clearly, so much more effectively and efficiently. And it's about creating that stable foundation for you to be with yourself, to support yourself, so that you can hold that sturdy and stable foundation for others when they need it, without stepping in and doing the work for them, and without being a people pleaser. Because that's one of the biggest wounds that I see in this world, and this very masculine approach to society, is that people-pleasing mentality. What can I do for somebody else? How can I show up for somebody else? What does this person need from me? And there's a time and a place to help others, but not at the cost of not supporting your own self first. And this is your life, and this is an important lesson, to be able to learn to put yourself first and to be with you first and foremost. And when you can, everything around you will fall into place. So I'm going to hop on off. I've got some travel today. I'm heading to Santa Teresa. And I opted into two travel plans that fully support me in where I'm going, without me having to put a whole lot of stress into thinking about bus transfers and travel transfers. And that's a step for me today, is leaning into something that might be a little bit more expensive, that might be financially a little bit more of an investment, so that it takes a little bit of stress off me, because I know that my nervous system is not the most grounded and not the most regulated right now. And so how can you show up for yourself in a way that prevents you from adding more stress to your plate? So I'm going to show you a little view of my cute little humble abode here. The ocean's over there. Beautiful. Oh, the jungle, what a place. All right, sending you love, all the love, and we'll talk soon. Bye.